The most dangerous way to waste your life is not through major sins alone. It is through wasted mornings, through sleeping while opportunities descend from the heavens, through ignoring the hour that carries peace, clarity, strength, and barakah. Every single morning, Allah gives you a new beginning, a new page, a new chance to return. But many people wake up already defeated. They open their eyes with stress. They rush to their phones before they rush to their Lord. They begin their day with distraction instead of direction. And then they wonder why their hearts feel empty, why their goals never grow, why their time disappears, why their soul feels heavy. Because barakah is not just about having more. Barakah is when little becomes enough, when 1 hour feels productive. When your heart feels calm even during hardship, when your soul feels connected even in chaos. And one of the greatest secrets of barakah begins with Fajr. The people who protect Fajr are not just protecting a prayer, they are protecting their entire life. Think about it. Before the world wakes up, before the noise begins, before messages, responsibilities, and stress arrive, Allah invites you first. Not your boss, not social media, not people, Allah. And many people ignore that invitation every single day. Imagine the King of all kings calling your name before sunrise, and you choose sleep over him. Then later you ask Allah to bless your day. The early morning is sacred. It is quiet for a reason. It is peaceful for a reason. It is spiritually powerful for a reason. There is something different about the soul after Fajr. The heart becomes softer, the mind becomes clearer, the dua feels deeper, the Quran touches differently. But you will never understand the beauty of Fajr Barakah until you experience it consistently. Some people think success begins with motivation. No real success begins with discipline before sunrise. The people who change their lives are usually awake while others are asleep, not just physically awake, spiritually awake. They begin their mornings with sajda instead of scrolling, with dhikr instead of anxiety, with Quran instead of noise, and slowly Allah changes everything inside them. Do not underestimate what one blessed morning can do to your heart. One sincere Fajr can stop a sin. One sincere dua after Fajr can change your destiny. One quiet morning with Allah can heal years of darkness inside you. The tragedy is that many people stay awake all night chasing temporary entertainment, but cannot wake up for eternal success. They sacrifice peace for distraction, purpose for comfort, barakah for laziness. And Shaitan loves delayed mornings because when you waste your morning, your entire day feels heavier. You delay your prayer, you delay your goals, you delay your repentance, you delay your life. But the believer is different. The believer rises with purpose, even if tired, even if struggling, even if the world feels heavy, because they know something powerful. Every morning is a chance to return to Allah before returning to the dunya. And maybe that is why some of the most peaceful people are not the richest people. They are the people who protect their mornings with Allah. They have less stress because their day begins with surrender, less confusion because their first conversation is with their Creator, less emptiness because their soul is fed before their body. Do not waste the hours that carry unseen blessings. There are people begging Allah for peace that is hidden in Fajr, begging Allah for guidance that is hidden in Fajr, begging Allah for strength that is hidden in Fajr. But blessings are not only asked for, sometimes they must be pursued. So tomorrow morning when the alarm rings, remember this. You are not waking up only for prayer. You are waking up for your future, for your heart, for your soul, for your barakah. Fight the sleep. Fight the excuses, fight the laziness, because every difficult step toward Allah is witnessed by Allah, and never say, I'll start later. Later becomes months, months become years, years become regret. Start with one morning, one sincere Fajr, one quiet dua before sunrise. And watch how Allah changes the atmosphere of your life. Your mornings shape your destiny, your habits shape your soul, and the people closest to Allah are often the ones awake when the world is asleep. Do not waste the morning hours. Because the secret of barakah begins before sunrise. There is a reason why the world feels different before sunrise. The air feels calmer, the heart feels quieter, the distractions are fewer, and the soul can finally breathe. These early morning moments are not ordinary moments. They are blessed moments. They are moments filled with barakah, the hidden blessings from Allah that bring peace, productivity, clarity, and goodness into life. Most people wake up already exhausted, not because their body is weak, but because their soul is empty. They begin the day with noise instead of remembrance. They begin with stress instead of surrender. They reach for their phones before they reach for Allah. And slowly their days lose barakah. They work harder but achieve less. They stay busy but feel unfulfilled. They chase happiness but remain restless because barakah is not about quantity. It is about divine blessing. 1 hour with barakah can achieve what 10 empty hours cannot. One peaceful morning can strengthen you for an entire day. One sincere Fajr can completely change the direction of your heart. This is why Fajr is not just another prayer. It is the foundation of the believer's day. When you wake up for Fajr, you are responding to the call of Allah before the call of the dunya. Before work demands your attention, before people expect things from you, before social media pulls your focus away, Allah calls you first. And there is something powerful about beginning your day with your Creator. It changes your mindset. Instead of beginning the morning with anxiety, you begin with trust. Instead of beginning with pressure, you begin with prayer. Instead of beginning with confusion, you begin with guidance. That is barakah. The people who experience the sweetness of Fajr know that the morning carries a special kind of peace that cannot be explained. After prayer, the heart feels lighter, the mind becomes clearer. Even problems feel smaller because the soul has already connected to the one who controls everything, and this connection changes the entire atmosphere of the day. A person who wakes for Fajr learns discipline. A person who wakes for Fajr learns sacrifice. A person who wakes for Fajr learns sincerity because no one wakes up before sunrise consistently except the one who truly wants Allah. And Allah sees every struggle. He sees the tired eyes. He sees the battle against sleep. He sees the effort to leave the comfort of the bed for the comfort of worship. And no effort made for Allah is ever wasted. Many people spend years searching for motivation, success, and inner peace without realizing that one of the greatest secrets was always hidden in the early morning hours. Fajr teaches you that blessings come before comfort. The believer who rises for prayer may feel tired for a few minutes, but they gain strength for the rest of the day. Meanwhile, the one who sleeps through Fajr may gain temporary comfort, but often carries spiritual heaviness throughout the day. That is the difference between comfort and barakah. And perhaps the saddest thing is that many people never experience the beauty of these blessed mornings because they only know late nights and wasted hours. They stay awake for entertainment, scrolling endlessly, laughing endlessly, distracting themselves endlessly, yet struggle to wake up for the very thing that could heal their heart. But Allah continues to give another morning, another chance, another opportunity to return. So never underestimate the power of waking up for Fajr. It may look small to the world, but to Allah, it is a sign of love, sincerity, and effort. And sometimes the biggest transformations in life begin in the quiet darkness before sunrise. That is where barakah begins. There are some habits that do not just change your schedule, they change your entire life. And one of the greatest of them is protecting Fajr. Many people think Fajr is only about waking up early for prayer. But Fajr is much deeper than that. Fajr is a test of love, a test of discipline, a test of priorities. It reveals what truly matters to your heart because when the world is asleep, when your bed is warm, when no one is watching you and no one is forcing you, you still choose Allah. That choice changes a person. Protecting Fajr protects your relationship with Allah first. It reminds you every morning that your purpose is greater than worldly success. Before money, before goals, before responsibilities, before people, there is Allah. And when Allah becomes first in your life, everything else slowly falls into place. The problem today is not only that people are physically tired. The problem is that people are spiritually disconnected. Their hearts are drowning in distraction. Their minds are constantly overloaded. They wake up anxious, rushed, and empty because they begin the day disconnected from the one who gives peace. But the believer who protects Fajr begins differently. They begin with wudu, washing away heaviness. They begin with prayer, calming the heart. They begin with sajda, reminding the soul that no problem is bigger than Allah, and this spiritual protection affects every part of life. Fajr protects your heart from becoming hard. It protects your mind from drowning in negativity. It protects your soul from slowly drifting away from Allah. Many sins begin with spiritual weakness, and spiritual weakness often begins when prayer becomes neglected, especially Fajr. When Fajr is lost, discipline weakens. When discipline weakens, distractions grow stronger. When distractions grow stronger, the heart slowly becomes distant from Allah. That is why Shaitan fights hardest at Fajr, because he knows if you win the first battle of the day, you become stronger for the rest of it. Every morning is a battle between comfort and purpose. Your bed says sleep more. Your soul says return to Allah. And the choice you make shapes your life. The people who protect Fajr are not perfect people. They struggle too. They feel tired too. They fail sometimes too. But they keep returning. They keep trying. And that consistency builds strength inside them because every time you wake up for Fajr, you are training yourself to choose what is right over what is easy. And that lesson carries into every area of life. You become stronger against temptation, stronger against laziness, stronger against hopelessness, stronger against distraction. Fajr teaches you self-control in a world addicted to comfort, and protecting Fajr also protects your time. People who honor the early morning often experience more focus, more productivity, and more emotional clarity throughout the day. There is less chaos inside them because their morning began with peace. The world teaches people to chase success by exhausting themselves. But Islam teaches something deeper. True success begins with connection to Allah. Without that connection, even achievements feel empty. How many people have wealth but no peace? How many people smile outside but feel broken inside? How many people are awake physically but asleep spiritually? Fajr awakens the soul. It reminds you that life is not only about surviving another day, it is about walking toward Allah every single morning. And perhaps the most beautiful thing about protecting Fajr is this: Allah never ignores the servant who wakes up for him, even when your du'as are delayed. Even when life feels difficult, even when no one sees your effort, Allah sees it. He sees the alarm you fought against. He sees the tears in your dua. He sees the exhaustion in your body and the sincerity in your heart. And no sincere step toward Allah is ever wasted. So protect Fajr not because it is easy, but because your soul depends on it. Because sometimes the prayer you struggle hardest to protect becomes the very prayer that protects you. One of the greatest illusions of this dunya is the belief that we simply need more time. People constantly say, I don't have enough hours, I'm too busy, there's no time for Quran, no time for prayer, no time for family, no time for rest. But the real problem is often not the lack of time. The real problem is the lack of barakah. Barakah is the hidden blessing from Allah that makes little become enough. It is when a short amount of time produces great results. It is when your heart feels peaceful even during busy days. It is when your energy feels strengthened without explanation. It is when Allah places goodness in your work, your health, your relationships, and your life. Without barakah, even long days feel empty. With barakah, even small efforts become powerful. There are people who work all day yet accomplish very little. They are constantly exhausted, distracted and overwhelmed. Their minds are busy, but their hearts are disconnected. Their schedules are full, but their souls feel empty. And there are others who may have fewer hours, fewer resources, and fewer opportunities. Yet Allah places such blessing in their time that they achieve more, feel calmer, and live with greater peace. That is the difference between time and barakah. The modern world worships productivity but ignores spiritual connection. People chase success while neglecting the one who controls success. They want the reward without the source of the blessing. But true barakah comes from Allah alone. And one of the biggest reasons barakah disappears from life is because people fill their days with distraction instead of remembrance. Whores disappear in scrolling, energy disappears in gossip, peace disappears in endless comparison. People consume so much noise that their hearts become spiritually exhausted. Then they wonder why they constantly feel behind in life. The believer understands something powerful. A life connected to Allah is never empty. When you begin your day with Fajr, with Quran, with dhikr, you invite barakah into your hours. Suddenly your mind becomes clearer, your decisions become wiser, your heart becomes calmer. The same 24 hours begin to feel different because Allah places blessing inside them. And this is why two people can live completely different lives with the same amount of time. One spends years chasing temporary things and still feels lost. The other spends moments sincerely connected to Allah and feels guided because barakah is not measured by numbers. It is measured by impact. One sincere dua can change a lifetime. One page of Quran can heal a wounded heart. 1 hour after Fajr can become more productive than an entire distracted day. Never underestimate the power of blessed time. Some people stay awake late into the night, wasting hours on entertainment that adds nothing to their soul. Then they wake up tired, rushed, and spiritually drained. Their mornings begin with chaos because their nights ended without purpose. But the believer seeks a different kind of life, not merely a busy life, a blessed life, a life where the heart feels close to Allah, a life where work has meaning, a life where peace enters the home, a life where small acts carry enormous reward. And sometimes Allah removes barakah from life not because He hates us, but because He wants us to return to Him. He wants us to realize that success without Him will always feel incomplete. No amount of money can replace inner peace. No amount of followers can replace a tranquil heart. No amount of worldly achievement can replace closeness to Allah. The people with the most barakah are often not the people with the easiest lives. They are the people who remember Allah consistently. They protect their prayers. They value their mornings. They avoid wasting their hearts on meaningless distractions. And Allah blesses their time in ways the world cannot explain. So stop asking only for more time. Ask Allah for barakah in your time. Because a life filled with barakah will always be more valuable than a life filled only with busyness. One of the biggest battles of life is not against other people. It is against yourself, against your laziness, against your distractions, against the part of you that always wants comfort over growth. And nowhere is this battle more visible than in the early morning. The moment the alarm rings for Fajr, two voices begin fighting inside you. One voice says, stay in bed, sleep a little more, you can pray later. The other voice says, get up, Allah is calling you. Do not miss this opportunity. That small decision in the morning may seem insignificant, but it shapes your entire day because discipline is not built in giant moments. It is built in small daily victories. Every time you wake up for Fajr despite being tired, you are teaching yourself something powerful. Your soul is stronger than your desires, and that strength slowly transforms your life. The people who lose themselves in laziness are usually not weak physically. They are weak spiritually. Their lives become controlled by comfort. They only move when they feel motivated. They delay important things constantly. They waste hours scrolling, watching, comparing, and distracting themselves from reality. Then one day they wake up and realize years have passed. Dreams remain dreams, goals remain goals. And the heart became emptier and emptier because distraction is dangerous, not only because it wastes time, but because it slowly destroys purpose. Shaitan does not always need to pull a person toward major sins immediately. Sometimes he only needs to keep them distracted, keep them lazy, keep them spiritually asleep. A distracted person rarely reflects, a lazy person rarely changes. And a spiritually asleep person slowly drifts away from Allah without realizing it. That is why morning discipline is so powerful. When you wake up early for Allah, you break the chains of comfort. You prove that your desires are not your master. You train your heart to choose purpose over pleasure, and this mindset affects every area of life. A person disciplined in Fajr becomes stronger in work, stronger in studies, stronger in controlling emotions, stronger in resisting temptations because discipline is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. And there is something spiritually cleansing about starting the day with worship instead of distraction. Imagine waking up and immediately opening social media. Within minutes, your mind becomes crowded with noise, comparisons, negativity, and endless information. Your peace disappears before the day even begins. But now imagine beginning with wudu, with prayer, with Quran, with quiet remembrance of Allah. Your heart feels lighter, your thoughts feel calmer, your soul feels awake. This is why the righteous valued the early morning so deeply. They understood that whoever controls the morning often controls the rest of the day. The first hours after waking are powerful because they set the emotional and spiritual tone for everything that follows. If your morning begins with laziness, your day often continues with laziness. If your morning begins with purpose, your day gains direction. And discipline is not about being perfect every day. It is about continuing even when it feels difficult. There will be mornings when your body feels heavy, mornings when sleep feels impossible to leave, mornings when motivation disappears completely. But those are the mornings that matter the most, because true discipline is doing what is right even when your feelings resist it. And Allah loves consistent effort, even if you struggle, even if you fail sometimes, even if you are not where you want to be yet. Keep trying, because every morning you rise for Allah, you are rebuilding yourself. You are becoming stronger than your excuses. Stronger than your laziness, stronger than your distractions. The world today is filled with people who are entertained but empty, busy but directionless, connected online but disconnected from Allah. Do not become one of them. Guard your mornings carefully. Because the person who conquers the morning often conquers their life. And sometimes the strongest people are simply the ones who kept waking up for Fajr while others kept choosing sleep. There is a kind of healing that cannot be found in people, money, entertainment, or worldly success. It is the healing that comes when the soul returns to Allah in the quiet hours before sunrise. Many people today are carrying invisible pain. They smile outside while suffering inside. Their hearts are exhausted, their minds are restless, their souls feel empty, even when life looks fine on the outside. And because the world teaches people to escape pain instead of healing it, many turn toward endless distractions. They scroll for hours, they chase temporary pleasures. They drown themselves in noise because silence forces them to face what is inside. But no distraction can truly heal a wounded heart. Only Allah can. And one of the most powerful moments of healing is the early morning, especially the moments surrounding Fajr. There is something deeply peaceful about the world before sunrise. The noise has not yet begun. The pressure of the day has not yet arrived. It feels as if Allah has created those moments specifically for the tired soul to breathe again. The believer who wakes up for Fajr experiences something many people never understand. The heart softens. When your forehead touches the ground in sajda while the world sleeps, your soul remembers its true home. You remember that no matter how broken you feel, Allah is still near. No matter how heavy life becomes, Allah is still listening. And suddenly, the pain feels lighter. Not because the problems disappeared immediately, but because your heart reconnects with the one who controls all problems. This is why the early morning heals differently. A sincere dua before sunrise feels different. A quiet recitation of Quran feels different. Even tears feel different when they fall in the darkness while speaking only to Allah. There are wounds inside the human heart that people cannot fix, the disappointment no one understands. The loneliness hidden behind smiles, the anxiety that follows you silently, the regrets you carry for years. But Allah sees every hidden pain, and perhaps this is why the early morning is so special, because it becomes a private meeting between the broken soul and its creator. The world may not understand your struggles, people may ignore your pain, but Allah never does. Every morning you wake up for Him, you are telling your soul, I still believe Allah can heal me, and that hope itself is healing. Many people think healing always comes instantly. But spiritual healing often comes slowly, quietly, through consistency. One Fajr prayer may not remove all sadness immediately, but daily connection with Allah slowly changes the heart. The anger softens, the anxiety decreases, the emptiness fades. The heart begins to feel alive again. Because hearts were never created to survive without remembrance of Allah, a person can have comfort, wealth, beauty, and success, yet still feel empty inside if their soul is distant from Allah. And another person may struggle deeply in life yet carry peace in their heart because they wake up every morning connected to their Lord. That is real healing. The early morning also teaches emotional strength. When you rise despite sadness, despite exhaustion, despite stress, you are proving that your pain will not control your relationship with Allah, and Allah loves those who continue turning to Him even while hurting. Some of the most beloved servants of Allah are not the people without struggles. They are the people who cried privately in sujud and still trusted Allah completely. So never underestimate the healing hidden in the early morning. Do not underestimate 2 raka'ah prayed sincerely before sunrise. Do not underestimate one quiet moment of dhikr. Do not underestimate one tear shed for Allah, because sometimes healing begins not when life changes around you, but when Allah changes what is happening inside you. And often that transformation begins in the silence of the morning when the world sleeps. When distractions disappear, when your soul finally speaks honestly to Allah, that is where hearts begin to heal. Most people wait for a huge moment to change their lives. They wait for motivation. They wait for the perfect time. They wait for a tragedy, a breakthrough, or a sign. But real transformation rarely begins with something dramatic. It begins quietly, with one sincere morning, one sincere prayer, one decision to stop wasting your life, and that is the power of consistency. Many people underestimate small acts because they only focus on immediate results. They think one fajr will not matter, one dua will not matter, one morning of discipline will not matter, but they forget something important. Mountains are built from small stones. Every great change begins with repeated small actions. A single morning may not completely transform your life overnight, but one morning leads to another. One prayer leads to another. One act of sincerity slowly reshapes the heart. And before you realize it, you are no longer the same person. This is how Allah changes people, not always instantly, but gradually, beautifully, consistently. A person who once struggled to wake up for Fajr begins waking naturally. A person once addicted to distractions begins craving Quran. A person once drowning in hopelessness begins carrying peace inside the heart. Why? Because consistent mornings create a consistent relationship with Allah, and the closer you become to Allah, the more your life changes from the inside out. The tragedy today is that many people want change without discipline. They want peace without prayer. They want success without sacrifice. They want barakah while continuing habits that destroy barakah. But Allah created life upon effort. The believer keeps showing up. Even when tired, even when unmotivated, even when struggling internally, because consistency is more powerful than temporary intensity, many people become emotional for one night, then return to old habits the next morning. But the people who truly change are the ones who continue after the emotions fade. That is sincerity, to wake up for Allah, not only when life feels easy, but also when life feels heavy. And every consistent morning sends a message to your soul. Allah matters more than my comfort. That message changes your character slowly. Discipline replaces laziness. Purpose replaces distraction. Hope replaces despair. And perhaps the most beautiful part is that Allah loves small, consistent deeds, even if they seem tiny to you. One sincere dua every morning. One page of Quran after Fajr, one moment of dhikr before sunrise. These acts may appear small in the eyes of people, but with Allah they can become enormous. Sometimes one consistent habit becomes the reason Allah guides a person completely. And consistency also protects you during difficult times. When pain enters your life, your morning connection with Allah becomes your source of strength. Your routines become spiritual anchors. While others collapse under pressure, your heart remains connected because you trained yourself to return to Allah daily. That is why Shaitan wants people to remain inconsistent, because inconsistency weakens the soul. One day praying, 3 days neglecting, one morning motivated, weeks spiritually asleep. A heart without consistency becomes unstable, but the heart that meets Allah every morning becomes stronger, calmer, and more focused. Do not say, I will start when I become better. Start now. No one changes overnight. Even the righteous struggled. Even the strongest believers had moments of weakness. The difference is that they kept returning to Allah again and again. And Allah never rejects the servant who keeps returning. So if your life feels lost right now, do not focus on changing everything at once. Focus on tomorrow morning. Wake up for Fajr, pray sincerely, speak honestly to Allah, sit quietly for a few moments after prayer, then repeat it again the next day, because destiny is not always changed through one giant action. Sometimes it changes through small acts repeated with sincerity for the sake of Allah. One consistent morning can save your soul from years of darkness. One consistent morning can rebuild your heart. And one sincere step toward Allah can become the beginning of an entirely new life.